Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Saratoga Racecourse here on opening day. It is Friday, July the 20th, 2018. I'm going to look at almost all the races on opening day from Saratoga, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and remember to join me here on YouTube daily for my Saratoga thoughts throughout this meeting. Thoughts, preview, selection, everything. Last year I did look at one race for every day from Saratoga, if not most days, or actually I looked at multiple races, but for YouTube, join me all throughout the meeting for my thoughts of the spa. But it's opening day from Saratoga, one of the best days of the year, I think, for horse racing. The race, when the racing gets to Saratoga, it's like the best of the best all meeting up. One of the it's just on Twitter this week, which place is better, Saratoga or Del Mar? And my thoughts, Saratoga. It's New York. Us New Yorkers do everything the best, as I say that in a very arrogant way. But personally, I always thought Saratoga is a lot better than Del Mar. I've never been to Del Mar, but the racing on paper is a lot better at Saratoga. But I will also have Del Mar previews on YouTube also, but Saratoga I love a lot better. I'm going to look at almost all the races here on opening day. I'm going to look at the only two races I'm not going to look at are races 2 and 5. Those two races are very tough 2-year-old races, and I just have no idea in those races, so I wouldn't feel confident giving out a tip in that race, so we're going to skip those two. But we'll look at the other 8, so let's get on to it. Starting off race number 1 from Saratoga. The first race, it's a claiming race, purse $50,000. It's for 3-year-olds and upwards, going for a claiming price of $25,000. Field of 8 horses here, going the distance of ground of 1,800 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile and 1/8, one lap around the Graveyard of Champions. 1,800 meters, a mile and 1/8 on the main track. And I show the diagram. It just gives me a second to look down at my notes. Just bear with me. My top selection here, I'm going to go to the 2 horse, Nobody Move. I'm going to go 2, 7, 4, 6 in the superfecta. That's my top 4. 2, 7, 4, 6. Top selection of 2 horse, Nobody Move. 5-year-old gelding by the Funny Bone. Javier Castellanos on this one for Rudy Rodriguez. This horse's most recent outing came the 31st of May at Belmont, a mile and 1/16 and a claiming 25. This horse won by nose that day. He was on the lead all throughout. He had to be, used a little bit up in the straightaway, but he got there in the end. A good victory for this horse. A major improvement off his start before, which came on the 31st of March at Aqueduct. 7 furlongs in that Caixa Electronica. This horse finished 8th by 11.5 lengths that day. It didn't have the best beginnings and just didn't show up there. Also, the horse was on a very quick turnaround of a week. A week earlier at Aqueduct, 1 mile at Optional 40. First start in 2 months. This horse finished 3rd by 5 lengths. Didn't have the best of starts and, got going a little bit too late. But I think the 2 turns should really suit this horse here. You need speed from the inside going here at Saratoga, routing on the main track. So he has the speed and he's on the inside, and I like his chances a lot. He's been training on the here at Saratoga. Most recent workout, 4 furlongs and 51 flat. The 51st best at 6-1. I think this horse is rearing to go, and I'll take my chances at 3-1. To a multi-race now. I think the 7 horse, Hardly a Secret, could also run a big one. Not Keelan Shipper, Churchill Shipper. He ran well in his last race on the slop, and he's the kind of horse that should really handle the 2 turns a lot better than some of these horses here. And he's like I said, another horse I would use in the multi-race. I would go too deep in this race to start off the pick 5 or pick 3, whatever you decide to play. But to recap my selections for the first from Saratoga, gonna go with the number 2 horse here, Nobody Move. Gonna go 2, 7, 4, 6 in the superfecta. I'll go 2, 6. 2-7 in a multi-race. So now let's get on to race number 2. And like I said earlier, race number 2, I'm not going to give you a selection because it's just a very difficult race, and I just won't feel confident giving out a selection in this race. So we're going to head on to race number 3 now from Saratoga. The third race, it's a claiming race, purse $48,000. It's for 3-year-olds and upwards. Number 1, 2 races here. Field of 8 horses going the distance of ground of 1,200 meters or the distance of ground of 6 furlongs on the Saratoga main track. 1,200 meters, 6 furlongs. And my top selection in this race, this is one of the most wide open races of the afternoon. It took me a while to figure out something with this race. A lot of replays I watched here. But I'm going to go with the 7-horse Rue Patriot. I'm going to go 7265. 7265 Super. To the multi race, I'll use the 7 and the 2. I think I'm going to go keep it down to those two. Maybe the 6-horse if you have some extra bankroll, but the 7 and 2 I like a lot here. But my top selection, the 7-horse Row Patriot, 3-year-old gelding by 2-step Salsa. Rajiv Marag is on this one for Eduardo Jones. 20-1 here is a great price on this one. His most recent outing came the 5th of July at Belmont. 6 furlongs and claiming 20. He finished 4th by 12 3/4 lengths there, and he just didn't have the best to start. All his chances were lost as the start. Didn't break all that well. Got bumped, and he just had a horrible trip. Really, as the favorite was chasing. Even with a step up in class here, he's a good 6 furlong horse, and he looks like he could be a good stalker in this race. And I'll take my chances with him. Before the 13th of June at Belmont, 6 furlongs claiming 25. He finished third by 6.5 lengths. He stalked early, a little bit wide, but he didn't weaken out of it. But he didn't weaken or he didn't quicken either, if that even makes sense. Pardon me, I can't hear myself. I have quite a bad ear infection at the minute, so hopefully I'm making sense. But he just stayed there at Belmont. He just, it was an average race. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't. It wasn't good either. It was average. And then before that, at Gulfstream, 6 furlongs claiming 2,500. Horse finished second by length. He just missed, but he ran a decent effort there. And then before that, Gulfstream, 6 furlongs claiming 25. He finished second by 2 3/4 lengths. He stalked early, had a lead a little bit in the straightaway, and then he got overtaken. Just went a little bit too fast early. And then before that, Gulfstream, 6 furlongs claiming 20. Horse finished 4th by 2 lengths. Didn't have the best of trips that they had to steady a few times, and I think that cost him the victory. But I like him a lot here with his tracking position. And at 20-1, I'll take my chances with him. So to recap my selections for the third from Saratoga, I'm going to go with the 7-horse Rue Patriot. I'm going to go 7-2-6-5 in the superfecta. So now let's head on to race number 4. Race number 4 from the Spa. It's a maiden race going for a purse of $56,000. It's for maidens 3-year-olds and upwards, going for a claim price of $75,000. Field of 9 horses here, going the distance of ground of 1,700 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile and 1/16 on the inner turf course. The rail's at 0 feet. 1,700 meters, mile 16th. My top selection in this race, I like the number 4 horse here, the 4-horse Dominant Strategy. I'm going to go 4-9-6-7, 4-9-6-7 Super. My top selection of 4-horse Dominant Strategy. He'll be used in a multi-race along with the number 9 horse, tearing it up. I think he could run a big one also. I would go too deep here if I would play the multi-race pick 5, pick 4, whatever if I would play it. I'm going to save my money for the later end of the card. But as a suggestion, 4-9 I would go. But my top selection of 4 horse, Dominant Strategy, 3-0 Ridgeling by Bernardini. Jose Ortiz gets on this one for Chad Brown. This horse is stepping on turf for the first time, but he's been training in the mornings on the turf, and looks like he's been training quite well. But his most recent race came 24th of June at Belmont, a mile and the 16th in main special weight for 75,000. He finished 4th by 17 1/4 lengths, very wide that day, and he just hit the wall completely. Couldn't keep up with them there. It wasn't his day to win. Before that at Belmont on the mud, 1 mile at mean special weight 75,000. He finished second by 14 lengths. Set the pace early on, then he just hit the wall. The winner, Rugby Man, opened up by a bunch. This horse just can't keep up with him. But I think coming here to the inner turf course at Saratoga, where the speed could be very deadly and go all on lead all throughout, I think if this horse does that here today, I think he could run a massive race. Like I said, he's making his first turf debut on today, but he's been training on it on the Oklahoma turf track here at Saratoga. 5 furlongs and 102 in 2/5 of a second, breezing with the dogs up. It was the best workout of 12, and before that he had a Saratoga main track workout, 4 furlongs, 49.2, 7th best workout, 30. I think he's rearing to go. Like I said, he's sitting a little bit closer. If he sets the pace and sets some easy fractions, I think he could go away with it. 4-1. I'll take him, so watch out. So to recap my selections for the 4th from Saratoga, I'm going to go with the 4-horse Dominant Strategy. I'm going to go 4-9-6-7 in the superfecta. So we're going to skip over race number 5 now from Saratoga because it's a very tough 2-year-old race. A lot of them are making their first start, and I have no idea that this race If you play the pick five, I would all race number 2 and race number 5, or at least race number 5. Race number 2, you could maybe get a little sense of where you're going to go, but this race is just so difficult. I'm not going to even look at it. I wouldn't feel confident giving out a tip in this one. So we're going to head on to race number 6 now from Saratoga. The sixth race, it's an allowance race, purse $87,000. It's for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds, and upwards, number 1, 10,000. Once the main claim starter, a Staper allowance race here. Field of 10 horses going the distance of ground of 1,300 meters, or the distance of ground of 6.5 furlongs on the Saratoga main track. 6.5, 1,300 meters. My top selection in this race, I'm going to go to the 5 horse. The 5 horse, Kypriana. Hopefully I said that right. Pardon me if I didn't. I'm going to go 5-8-4-1 in the superfecta. 5-8-4-1 super. The Naira Betts pick 5 begins with this race. This race, I would go. Where are we? Race number 6. I would actually single the 5 horse Kypriana. I think she's the horse to be, and I'll take my chances singling her. 5-8-4-1 superfecta. I would single the 5 horse Kypriana. 3-year-old filly by Bodemeister. Javier Castellanos on this one for Mark Henning. This horse's most recent outing came 24th of June at Belmont. 6 furlongs, lounge race, 77,000, non-1X. This horse finished second by length and had a shitty beginning that day. Didn't break all that well, but it had a decent turn of foot at the end. It wasn't a bad race first off the break at the end. Beginning was shit, but before that, this horse ran the 6th of April at Gulfstream, 6 furlongs, an opposite 75 claimer. First off, a pretty long layoff. This horse finished 6th by 13 lengths. Just didn't have anything that day. Didn't show up. It wasn't the day to win. Also, it was 80 cents a dollar, which was just incredible. Should have been 80 cents a dollar that day. And then before that, Gulfstream, 6 furlong maiden special weight, 43,000. Horse won by 1/4 lengths. Even with that wide poster, this horse just took off clear in the straightaway and had a great victory. Coming here 6.5, second off the break. I like this horse a lot. Has been trading well down at Belmont. Watch out for this horse here today. So to recap my selections for the 6th from the spot, I'm going to go with the 5 horse Kypriana. I'm going to go 5-8-4-1 in the superfecta. I'll single the 5 horse in the multi-race. So now let's get on to race number 7. Race number 7 from Saratoga. It's a lounge race per $77,000. It's fillies, mares, 3-year-olds, and upwards. New York breds here. Field of 15 horses. The 13 and 14 are also eligible. The 15 is the main track only. So 12 will go on the turf course here. The distance of ground of 1,700 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile and 1/16 on the inner turf course. The rail's at 0 feet, so just keep that in mind. My top selection here, I like the number 3 horse here, the number 3 horse Cambria. I'm gonna go 3-5-10-1 in the superfecta. I'll go 3-5-10 in the multi-race, but my top selection is 3 horse Cambria. 4-year-old filly by Distorted Humor. Manny Franco's on this one for Jimmy Jerkins. Horse's most recent outing came 24th of June at Belmont. A mile and 1/8 on the inner, and an allowance race 65,000, non-1X. This horse finished 3rd by 2 1/4 lengths, a little bit too wide to get the victory. If this horse saved a little bit more ground, I think he could have possibly got the victory. He just couldn't get that good closing kick at the end. Before that at Belmont, a mile and 16th allowance race of 65,000 on 1X. Horse finished 3rd by 4 lengths there. He set the pace early on, and then he just kind of hit the wall. Couldn't keep up with him there. And then an aqueduct on the inner, 1 mile and main special weight, 62,000. Horse won by 2 lengths. He stalked early, got the lead, and just took off clear in the end. A very good victory for this horse, first on turf. His 3 turf races haven't been bad. His 1 dirt race was shit. Like I said, turf is what this horse wants to run on. Good post right here today. I think he should improve off his last run. Watch out for him at 4-1. Not the best price, but you have to take it. So to recap my selections for today's 7th race from Saratoga, gonna go with the 3 horse. Gonna go 3-5-10-1 in the superfecta. I'll go 3-5-10 in the multi-race also. So now let's get on to race number 8 from the spa. The 8th race is traditional opening day featured event. The 8th race, it's the Schuylerville Stakes, grade 3, purse $150,000. It's fillies, 2-year-olds here. A field of 10 horses going the distance of ground of 1,200 meters, or the distance of ground of 6 furlongs on the main track. Almost said Big Sandy, but it's the Saratoga main track. We're not on Big Sandy for another 6 weeks or so. But what am I talking about, Belmont? We're at Saratoga right now. My top selection, I like the number 8 horse here. The number 8 horse, as my iPad screws up. The 8 horse, Eyes in the Sky. I'm going to go 8-2-1-5 in the superfecta, 8-2-1-5 super. My top selection, 8 horse, Eyes in the Sky, will be used in a multi-race along with a 2 horse, Nona Madeline. I think it's a 2 horse race between these two, but my top selection, 8 horse, Eyes in the Sky. Tyler Gaffleone is on this trio, fully by Sky Mesa. Mark Cassie trains. This horse's most recent outing came the 7th of June at Belmont, 5.5 in the Astoria. This horse finished third by 3/4 length, closed up well at the end after such a wide trip. It wasn't a bad race, but her first outing at Churchill, going 4.5 on the 25th of May, was probably one of the most impressive 2-year-old races this year in North America. It was a main special weight. This horse won by 3.5 lengths, and if you see the move this horse had from the 7/16 or the 3 furlong pole until the quarter pole, this horse just had a gutsy turn of foot, and she just cleared the field. A very nice victory for this horse there. She ran well in the at Belmont in the Astoria, but she's been here at Saratoga for a couple of weeks now, it looks like, and she's been training well over the circuit. I like her a lot here, and I think she should run well. It probably won't be as impressive as the Churchill race, but I like her a lot here. At 6-1, definitely a horse you want on your ticket. The 2 horse, Nona Madeline, trio filled by Candy Ride. She's probably going to want longer in the future, but she gets John Velasquez up for top Pletcher. She ran a great race at Monmouth a few weeks ago, going 5 furlongs in main special weight. She won by 3.25 lengths. She didn't break all that well, but she got rushed to lead around the far turn, then she took off clear. A very easy victory. Since then, she's been training on the Oklahoma, 5 furlongs, 101 in 3/5 second, 4th best work out of 11. She's been ready to go here, and I think she should run a big one also. A horse you definitely want on the multi-race pick 4, so watch out. So to recap my selections for the 8th from Saratoga, it's the Grade 3 Schuylerville. As a top selection, I'm going to use the 8 horse Eyes in the Sky. I'm going to go 8-2-1-5 in the superfecta. I'll go 8-2 in the multi-race. So now let's get on to race number 9, the co-featured from the Spa here on opening day, the 9th race. It's the Lake George Stakes, Grade 3, purse $150,000, which fillies 3-year-olds here. Field of 8 horses going the distance of ground of 1,700 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile and 1/16 on the Mellon Turf Course. Rails at 12 feet, so the rails are up this afternoon on the Mellon. Top selection here, I like the number 7 horse here, the 7 horse Altia. I'm going to go 7-5-1-3, 7-5-1-3 super. I'll go 7-5 in the multi-race, but my top selection is the 7 horse Altia, 3-1, 3-year-old filly by Ciani. I read Ortiz Jr.'s on this one. Blinkers on today for the first time. This horse's most recent outing came the 7th of June. That came up Belmont, mile 8th in the Grade 3 Wonder again. This horse finished 5th by 2 3/4 lengths. Sat back early, had a little bit of a turn of foot at the end, but it wasn't enough to win. That inner turf course at Belmont does not play towards closers, plays more towards speed horses. But I think coming here to the Mellon, which can play towards closers, I like this horse's chances a lot here. Before that, Churchill, mile 16th in the Edgewood, this horse finished 5th by 1 3/4 lengths and had a decent turn of foot at the end. It wasn't a bad race for this horse there. And then at Tampa, mile 16th in the Grade 3 Florida Oaks, she finished 3rd by a head. She just missed closing it from the back of the pack. It was a good first start stateside race. Before that, she was running in the fall in France at Deauville in just a basic Group 3. She finished 2nd by 2.5 lengths behind a horse without you, who's a decent horse. This horse just missed closing up well. It wasn't a bad race. She's a deep closer. She should run well here today. I'll take my chances at 3-1, so watch out. So to recap my bets for the 9th race from Saratoga, it's the Grade 3 Lake George. As a top selection, I'm going to go with the 7 horse Altia. Going to go 7-5-1-3 in the superfecta. I'll go 7-5 in the multi-race. So now let's get on to race number 10 from Saratoga, as there's a whole bunch of, I don't know what, my cat's been in here. There's a whole bunch of hair on this microphone, and it's going in my mouth and my nose. But that's why one of the worst things of having a cat is their hair getting everywhere, and it's on this microphone foam. I have to change it after this video, but that's just annoying. But back to the subject of the 10th race from Saratoga. The 10th race, it's a claiming race. It's going for a purse $48,000. It's for 3-year-olds and upwards. Number 1, 2 races here, going for a claim price $40,000. Field of 13 horses. 1A is main track only, so 12 will go on the inner turf. The distance of ground, again, of 1,700 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile and 1/16th on the inner turf course. 1,700 meters, mile 16th here in a nightcap. My top selection here, I'm going to go to the 8-horse County Court. I'm going to go 8-2-7-12 in the superfecta, 8-2-7-12 super. I'll go 8-2 to end off the multi-race pick 4 or pick 5, whatever I decide to play. But 8-2 in the multi-race, 8-2-7-12. That's my top 4 superfecta. But my top selection, 8-horse County Court, 5-2, 4-year-old gelding by Harlan's Holiday. Dylan Davis gets up on this one for Shug McGahee. Horse's most recent outing came the 7th of July at Belmont, mile and a quarter inner turf course in an allowance race, 90,000 non-1X. This horse finished 5th by 5.5 lengths there. And, this horse just didn't have the turn of foot that day, just didn't show up. It wasn't his day to win. Before that at Belmont, mile and a quarter allowance race, 90,000 non 1X. Horse finished 5th by 3.5 lengths. Again, he just didn't show up. He didn't have any turn of foot there. But at Aqueduct on the 7th of April, he had a decent race. Mile and 8th inner turf course, main special weight 70,000. Horse won by 2 3/4 lengths, even from a wide post try, even with hitting the gate on the outside. He had a decent turn of foot to get the victory there. First off a 14-month layoff. It was a good race for this horse. He's a deep closer here. Closers can do well on this race course. At 5-2, I'll take my chances with him. Along with the two horse here, Dark Energy, 10-1. Kendrick Caramouche is on this one, on this 5-year-old horse by Giants Causeway. This horse made his New York debut a few weeks ago at Belmont. It's mile 16th and claiming 40. He finished 4th by 7 1/4 lengths. He stalked early, had a little bit of a trouble trip, and he got going a little bit too late. I think he was second off the break. Not so tough trip, hopefully, and not a lot of traffic. I like his chances a lot. He's a horse that looks like he could track the leaders. Before that, at Santa Anita, under the care of John Sheriffs, 1 mile and claiming 25, he finished 3rd by 1 3/4 lengths there. He stalked early on, a little bit of turn of foot at the end, but it wasn't enough to win. And then Saratoga, 1 mile star allowance, Santa Anita mile and a star allowance race, 50,000. Horse finished 5th by 5 1/4 lengths. Again, just had nothing there. But I think with a change of scenery, getting a mile 16th, good post draw, I'll take my chances with him at 10-1. He's a horse you definitely want to have on your multi-race. So to recap my selection for the 10th from Saratoga here on opening day, gonna go with the number 8 horse County Court. Gonna go 8-2-7-12 in the superfecta. I'll go 8-2 to end off the multi-race. So good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5.